wished for, but not in the way that they expected.
Yeah, man. I think a lot of people didn't. They were hoping for an Onyx versus Onyx grand final, but they got to get the third place match. I think nonetheless, both our matches today are going to be phenomenal. Hopefully, we get the full thing too. Hopefully, we get a full series, even for a third place match.
But still, you know, it's a good thing for the club. That's still Onyx versus Onyx, and for the viewers, definitely, it's hype, 1000%.
Yeah, it is an interesting story for the Onyx versus Onyx battle for third match that we're going to be seeing start things off for Grand Finals Day. But before we got to this moment, we got to see some epic action yesterday. We saw, what, 5 games between SRG against RRQ. We saw 4 games against Team Liquid and Onyx ID. So now, we are going to be witnessing the top place of yesterday brought to us by Kadia. Just to give you a little bit of a lowdown of what we expected. Destroyer, you were here yesterday, you were working. What was your overall feeling with SRG versus Onyx?
Oh, you know, SRG, the king's back, the boss of this gym back, and I really liked it. I was kind of worried during the group stage about SRG OG, but yesterday, you know, such a good performance, and they beat Onyx. That's kind of tough.
Yeah, I think I have to correct myself. I think I name dropped RRQ a little bit earlier. It's SRG Onyx and TLPH Onyx. I have to remind myself we got 2 Onyx yesterday. There was a moment in my head where I was thinking, wait, Onyx couldn't have played twice yesterday. Wait, no, right, it's because one's PH, one's ID.
It's fine, man. You know, so many people now are used to either the Team Liquids or the Onyx. You know, we get it mixed up sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had amazing matches. I was holding on to the edge of my seat. Unfortunately, I couldn't watch inside. They've been packed, by the way, the stadiums here, as you guys can see from the clips. But nonetheless, I love how the players are just as energized, and you know they're into it as much as the audience, because you see these clips of them too, and they've been thrown around the social media because of just how intense it is. And it's also, I know there's been a debate about how close the tables are, but I mean they seem to love it.
Well, I mean, you saw the reaction of Key Boys advert, but right now a lot of I love yous being said from both sides. If you haven't seen it, Key Boys' face is literally everywhere right now on social media. But yeah, because of the action that we saw yesterday, because Team Liquid Philippines took down Onyx, because SRG took down Onyx Philippines, it's now Liquid versus SRG OG.
That's kind of interesting thing. Also, we discussed yesterday with Leo and Rafael about what's harder, to sit here and watch the games, or to be at the venue like a viewer and to cheer up for your team. What's harder? What do you think?
You know what's so funny? Because later we are going to be in the grand finals supporting.
Yeah.
That's a tough question. What do you think, Natu?
You know what? Because we are so used to being casters, I enjoy the fact that we get these moments where we get to be fans. That's how we all started.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it later on.
Yeah, I've never experienced playing, so I'll just say, you know what? Being a fan is harder. But I'm pretty sure it comes with its own challenges being a player, especially when you know you have this amount of money looming over your heads, the prize pool. Just to remind you, 4th place and 3rd place, Onyx, as an organization, will solidify themselves being able to walk away with at least $400,000 US. And later, it's Liquid and SRG fighting for the 1 mil, and the 2nd place getting 500,000.
That's actually crazy. I mean, people have been, I feel like, talking about this too, but yeah, at the end of this 3rd place match, Onyx, the organization, is still winning essentially. So, you know, they're going to be fighting for that pride, I guess, to go ahead and say, like, we were the better Onyx today.
It's kind of funny. No matter what's gonna happen, Onyx gonna win.
Yeah, I think that's like the best way to. One of the things that a lot of people have been saying about this series for Battle for Third is like, at the end of the day, Onyx as an organization wins. So maybe a little bit later we'll be able to dive deeper into that matchup. We have to look at the big umbrella looming over the Esports World Cup, which is the Club Championship rankings brought to us by SDC. So yesterday we saw one Liquid Carlson get a lot of points and another title for Liquid, and now that launches them to the top of the standings. If I'm not mistaken, that's Team Liquid's first title win in the Esports World Cup. And now later today, we might see another Carl, TZ, potentially add 250 more points into the standings.
So now you know, if you want to have a child out there, start it with Carl. At least, you know, throw Carl in the name, but So, and also, this is updated for our viewers out there. This is
Yes.
currently updated. So, if Team Liquid happens to win today, they add what, 250? Is it 250 points to this total?
Additional points, and that's what they need, because club championship is super important for EWC and overall, like for all the teams, for all the organizations. Maybe the priority is even more than if we choose the different games. So that's why Team Liquid got an amazing opportunity to lead this board.
Yeah, again, that extra 250 looming over Team Liquid. No, because of some things we have to acknowledge, though, Onyx actually will not be getting points from their performance here at MSC at the Esports World Cup. Since they have two organizations under one title, they will not be getting points, and which is why you actually are not going to be seeing Onyx in this ranking so far because of their performance in MLBB. So I've been seeing a lot of questions about that. That's us clearing it up for you viewers out there. I think it's time for us to revisit our power rankings because I think there are a few things that were subverted. We placed Onyx PH in the A tier. Onyx ID the S tier, but in the A tier, SRG OG, I think they have successfully exceeded a lot of expectations.
They have, but when I look at this, I still think generally coming into this, you gotta remember, this was probably the most competitive international we've had in general, especially here for MSC at EWC. But, you know, I would say a lot of people, based off their groups too, would still have put SRG there. But now, yeah, there's something about it. They've said this in the broadcast, something about Riyadh where they just unlock this, like, potential in SRG OG. And now, yeah, you could definitely say they're an S-tier team after what we've seen even just yesterday.
Yeah, well, there's something that nice you said, Destroyer. I know you've also been casting and being even in MLBB town for a good amount of time. Real quick, do you agree with him that this is one of the most, if not the most competitive international tournament we've had?
Yes, absolutely. And I want to add one thing and to remind you about the situation about SRG. Why, like tier A? Because during the group stage, they underperformed. Actually,
That's true.
That's the reason also. Never forget about it.
Yeah, and that's what makes the story of SRG a little bit more interesting. The fact that they made it back to the grand finals, the fact that there's a chance they'll be the first ever two-time MSC champions. Now, it's time for one of my favorite segments that we have in the panels all across MLBB Esports here at the Esports World Cup. It's the Doctor's Notes Hot Takes brought to us by the Al Habib Medical Group. Nice, Sue. You actually had one that you told me. What was your hot take?
Hey, my hot take was basically, no matter what happens here, Onyx should take the boys both sides to Japan. Because they have, I mean, either way, whoever gets third or fourth, you have plenty of money, and I think after all this, they deserve to have some fun.
By the way, Coach Yep promised them if they go to the grand finals, but the question, if they match each other for the third place, will they go to the Japan?
Yeah, but well, I guess that's what Naisu's hot take is. It's just take them to Japan regardless. Hey, you secured 400,000 for the org. Might as well just push on with the trip and take them to where they want to go. So hopefully, maybe in a few months, maybe in a month or two. We have MPLs coming up so soon. At some point before the end of the year, hopefully we get to see them go on that Japan trip. I'm pretty sure the boys deserve it as well, being able to deliver for the organization in this state. Now, I think it's time for us to revisit what we're going to be expecting for the matches today. It's just two. One best of 5, one best of 7. Two teams under the same organization fight for third place, while Team Liquid Philippines will face off against SRG OG Esports in the grand finals. Two teams both seeking redemption in their own little ways. But it'll be the job of the panel later on to discuss the story of Team Liquid and SRG. We have to talk about Onyx. This isn't a hot take, but I think I have finally thought of a proper way to push the story for these two teams.
What's that?
For the longest time, it's been, we're fighting for our orgs. We're fighting for Indo Pride, PH Pride. I think at this point, these two teams, they have to be selfish. They just have to fight for themselves, win for themselves, and think about the money they're going to win for themselves.
That's the point, actually. The difference still about money. And if we speak about organization, definitely we can summarize that. But if we speak about the players, that's the difference.
Yeah, for the longest time, these two teams, they've been branded with that big picture on it. Because this is the first time we're going to see Onic PH, Onic ID in an international stage. In SPS, we were able to see them go up against each other. But now, at this point, I think just throw that all out the window. You gotta fight for something more than the big picture. Fight for the fact that you can pridefully say, like, I'm better than you, and you know it.
Yeah, this is I guess the test for the both of them. And maybe at the same point you can say, yeah, be selfish. I still think, obviously, we're going to see them play their hearts out.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is also going to bring a case where maybe, we'll talk about this later when we get to, like, drafts and stuff, is do we see some of that testing in the draft? Because they've acknowledged and accepted where they are in the third place match, I feel like, at this point. And then, you be selfish in the sense of play your best game. It's your last game here at EWC, so why not put everything on the line for a great show and a great match?
Yeah, when you think of that kind of vibe, there's one player that comes to mind for me when it comes to Onic Indonesia. It's Sans in the mid lane. For the longest time, he was touted as the mechanical god of mid laners, of mages. That I think whatever he ends up with in the draft needs to be something powerful that he can say, I'm going to carry this team on my own.
Also, I want to add one more thing about the compositions. You actually can create something, unpredictable. You can create a roster of the heroes and create it like, okay, we got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Really, nothing to lose. Let's make it unpredictable for everyone, even for our dear friends.
Yeah, and speaking of unpredictability, like, I would have to just highlight Super Friends, because even yesterday it was one of those moments where, you guys know what I'm talking about, the Spirit Destruction on the Valentina. It's like every international, this guy does something with the Valentina. And I already saw the post, it was like 2026 question mark. Like, what is he going to do on the Valentina then? And he's one of those players, too, that's just like, he is a mechanically gifted player himself, and he makes big plays. And I think that's why a lot of times, even the mid lane matchup between him and Sans is so good, because they're both S-tier mid laners.
Yeah, and that's why hopefully, like, the fanboy in me is looking for that. A matchup in the mid lane that just allows Sans and Super Friends to show how mechanically gifted they are, especially for Super Friends. Because for the longest time, it's always been Sans, great in mechanics, but Super Friends, great on the macro. Well, because that's the heroes that he usually ends up with. But we've seen shades of that, as you mentioned, with the Moscow, Valentina, and all of that, that I think there is enough room in the hero pool of Onic to hopefully allow Super Friends to, we call it sour plays in the Philippines, just have those little moments. So would you want to see that from your mid laner, or do you think they should stick to really something a bit more stable?
No. Surprise me. Make me surprised. And I really like that from Super Prince. And he's actually the only guy who's still taking the Valentina and making surprises for us.
So hopefully we do get more surprises from the mid lane. In the jungle, I think we've gotten to the point where just a little bit more, how do I say it? It's you already know what's coming in the jungle, right? Yeah. It's the Lancelots, yeah, all that. There's a good amount of options.
I think we have gone to that again where we've shifted, right?
Yeah.
Even leading into this, and I know we saw some of this during the interviews with some of the players in King Kong, and they're very apparent. The shift of the jungle has changed, but it's also in the sense like you still have these options where we can go utility versus assassin. We don't have to pair up utility versus utility. You don't have to do assassin versus assassin.
Yeah.
But there's clearly some teams that do it better, some junglers that work better. And I think nonetheless, it's still, I would consider it a very healthy meta that we're in.
Yeah, Destroyer, what do you think? Do you agree with that?
I want to add that if we check the stats, yes, first of all, we see the nomination of the assassins, but it's not only assassins, it's actually damage dealers, because you see Alice there, and she's definitely not an assassin, and Lucas also, like the fighter. But still, the utility jungler, they went to the second plan, and sometimes they appear when they need to be. Baksha, it's like 50-50 depends, but Fredrin still, he is dominating. He is one of the best utility junglers, and still teams respect him and rely on him.
Yeah, and it's cool because you're really seeing that, yes, it is mainly a carry jungle meta, but the utility junglers are an important option to have. The total bans almost sort of double for the assassins compared to the utility, but you're actually seeing that the utility junglers, as expected, are dominating the stats in terms of control around the major objectives.
It's crazy because even yesterday we saw the Barretts come to play, right? And that's why I think utility overall is just in this position where it's like, okay, this can work, but it fits very niche lineups. The Ez came out, and I know we talked about the throwback to that lineup that we've seen in the past, but I'm glad that there's still that option to go utility if you have to. Pick up assassins for the most time, like it is assassins still being picked up. But I also think that this current trend of more kind of brawly, chaotic fighting is great that we have this, because I think it makes things really interesting. How many times have we had a first blood in under the minute?
Yeah. All right, so as we're getting closer to the match, I want to play a little game.
Oh no.
Don't. Why are you so scared? Okay, so it's real quick.
Please don't.
One by one, I want you guys to just give me a hero. One hero that we haven't seen yet, or maybe we don't see enough of that you want to get picked in this series.
I know. Johnson.
Oh,
Johnson.
Okay.
Johnson plus Beatrix.
See this combo.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if Destroy is gonna get his wish later. Johnson, Beatrix. Okay. What about you?
You guys already know what I'm going to say. Like, there's only one hero on my mind all the time that's scored. We saw him in the group stage. I would love to see him come out for this final day. I just throw him out, you know? I mean, like, there's already been some surprise picks in the mid lane. Why not do it here?
Okay. For me, I want it to be one that we saw only once, but it somewhat struggled, and I've been asking for it. I want to see Cushion, man. It's Sans, Super Friends. I want to see one of them at least pick the Cushion once.
Like Troublemaker.
Yeah, just a straight up troublemaker. If you could, yeah, troublemaker from Easy. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like during the wild card, M5?
Yeah.
Wait, M5, right.
Yeah.
So he took the cushion, mid lane. Let's go. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for such kind of unexpected, of unpredictable picks. I'm ready for it. Give me show!
Yeah. I think that's like the best clip that we can go for. Give me show.
Please edit that.
Yeah. And hopefully that's what we get between Onyx. Real quick, very, very fast predictions. Who do you got taking this?
Onyx. I'm leaving it at that, man. No, just Onyx Philippines.
You know?
Okay.
You know? Onyx gonna win.
Which Onyx?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, he gets to do that. I'm going with Onyx Philippines.
Onyx Philippines, okay.
Actually, I also want to cheer up for Onyx Philippines.
Ooh, two Onyx Philippines. Am I gonna be the Filipino who goes Onyx Indonesia here just so that we balance out our predictions?
Trust your heart.
My heart says, I don't know. My heart says Onyx wins at the end of the day. My heart desires.
Saying with the same
Yeah, I
mind.
think we're all the same. I think we're all the same. My heart desires that we win at the end of the day. Because now we have, again, two teams who for the longest time have been brothers in arms fighting under the same umbrella. But maybe it's this tournament where they throw all of that out the window and just say, I'm fighting for myself. I'm fighting for my reputation. I'm fighting for my pride. We both may be porcupines, but I'm better than you, and you know it. Onyx Indonesia, Onyx Philippines, welcome to the battle for third here at MSC at the Esports World Cup.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the last and final day of the group stages of MSC at EWC 2025. Now, before we head on to the grand finale later on in the afternoon, we will first be watching a third placer match up against two brothers from different nations. And of course, you guys are still with Rose and Milosh for the final day.
It's a pleasure to have really borne witness to history in MLBB and here at MSC 25 at the Esports World Cup. Like we said, it's the third place game, right? The stakes are not as high, but there's still a lot on the line, especially national pride between two brotherly rosters here between both, of course, Philippines and Indonesia, that are two of the strongest regions in MLBB with two of the best teams from those specific regions too.
Yes, you are right, Milosh. And you know what? I'm pretty sure this is like a no pressure matchup for them because over at the backstage, they're fooling around, they're having so much fun, and hey, they are even planning their walkouts. So to all of you guys should get ready on those walkouts. It's gonna be amazing.
We're not putting the bar very high, but we're saying they're going to be having a lot of fun. And so will we with you. Let's introduce then our team, starting off with Onyx Indonesia! As the champions of MPL Indonesia, one of the strongest regions in MLBB, they came to MSC 25 as one of the favorites to win it all. And whilst they fought hard to meet those expectations, they fell just short of delivering the third MSC title for their team in the Clash of Champions. Now they return once more with their heads held high to finish their EWC campaign on a high note. That note just so happens to be a big brotherly battle.
Yes, indeed, Milosh. And of course, going up against Onyx Indonesia, it is the super family from the Philippines hoping to end their MSC journey on a higher note than their brothers from Indonesia. Let us call on up Onyx Philippines! As the reigning world champions, Onyx Philippines entered the tournament looking to complete the Triple Crown. While they couldn't complete their dream run after the intense series against SRG, Onyx Philippines still has a chance for a podium finish. While this matchup was a grand finals many have dreamed of, they meet in the third place match instead with a $250,000 US and the nation's pride. Ooh. I wonder what we're gonna see.
We just saw Keller diving right on stage! That's the sort of energy we're looking for. You hyped it up, but I had no idea Keller was gonna do that. Anyways, if anything, that is a great setup for our third and fourth place matchup. So please, Onyx and Onyx, you may go to your seats. No marquees, those have already been crushed, unfortunately, but I think it's time for us to dive headfirst into the rows. You ready?
I am ready.
Then let's send it over. Starting off our third place matchup. Have fun.
I love how just with their walkouts, they're already giving us what we asked for. They're giving us a show. Kelra diving headfirst. Is he gonna play Boxer Goldly? Is that what he's trying to signal? I don't think so, but it's great to see that these two teams are in high spirits. I feel like this is like the most lax that I've seen both Onyx squads, like with all the tension gone now. Now it's a battle for pride. Once again, welcome to our third place finals. You can redeem the code, which is case sensitive, and type that into your in-game clients, or you can scan the QR code wherever you are, wherever you're watching. We'd also appreciate it if you could comment, share, tell your friends that we're having this matchup. Who is gonna win? Will it be Onyx ID or Onyx PH? We're about to head into the draft. But I just love the vibe that we have on stage right now.
Think about it, man. Like, even for the audience, it's like you show up in an Onyx jersey. Which side are you rooting for, right? Because even yesterday, the support was amazing for both squads in their own respective matches. And, you know, I feel like even as a fan, it would be difficult right now to decide which one to cheer for.
Yeah, you see, Kiboy said they were expecting an Onyx versus Onyx Grand Finals, but they'll just have to try again. Hopefully we'll do better at M7. That's our World Championship. As for his prediction, Team Liquid looks really strong as a whole, but Kiboy thinks that SRG still has a chance.
It's a good point. Actually, so much respect for the opponents, like for SRG. Definitely, I would like to say if we are touching like the grand finals.
Yeah.
And a little bit.
Of course.
So I would like to say that SRG and Team Liquid will go full series. This is like, from my perspective, from what I saw yesterday.
And hopefully we do get that show, that full series that we're looking out for. Metro Zero skins, by the way, are coming out. If you haven't seen the cinematic trailer for it, search it up. The Metro Zero train is arriving at the MLBB battlefield with a stunning new series of skins where visual wonders await as cyberpunk meets traditional culture. Now, for these two teams, I wanted to inject a little bit of that punk energy into this. We're asking for surprises. But I don't think we'll actually get it in game number 1 right away. We might have to wait a little bit later into the series for some of the more crazier picks to come out.
Yeah, maybe for game 1. And